Welcome back to my channel. Today, I want to share with you a team composition that I have been thinking about and testing in DC, Dark Legion. And I believe this is a team worth investing in if you like a safe play style, but still want strong pressure in the late game. This lineup includes Queen Hippolyta and Artemis in the front line, with Wonder Girl, Supergirl, and Krypto in the backline. At first glance, many people might think this is a purely defensive team, but in reality, it has multiple layers of strategy beyond that. The special point of this team lies in combining two different synergy directions. In the front, the two tankers are not just standing there to absorb damage, but also create a stable protection layer for the entire team while putting pressure on the enemy through target control and forcing them to change their attack patterns. In the back, the remaining three characters are not only dealing damage, but also supporting each other through energy mechanics and stat boosts, allowing the team to become more stable as the fight goes on. However, I also want to make it clear from the beginning that this is not a perfect team in every situation. It has very clear strengths, but it also has certain weaknesses if facing a lineup that can burst damage quickly or exploit weak spiritual defense. That is why in this video, I will analyze both the strengths and the limitations of this team in a fair way, so you can decide whether it fits your play style or not. First, if we look at this team from a tactical overview, the main idea is very clear. Build an extremely durable front line to create a safe foundation for the backline to operate. Queen Hippolyta and Artemis are not just two tankers absorbing hits, but they also create proactive protection through shields, defense boosts, and dual mechanics. This makes it very difficult for opponents to break through the team at the start of the match, especially when they try to reach the backline carries. Meanwhile, the three backline positions take on the role of dealing damage and providing support in a very balanced way. Wonder Girl reinforces the team's defense and increases overall stability for the Amazon group. Supergirl acts as the main area damage in a damage source with strong burst potential when conditions are met. And Krypto maintains the pace of the match through healing and energy support. When combined, this backline does not rely too heavily on a single character, but instead functions as a system where each unit supports the others. Next, the playstyle of this team focuses more on long-term control rather than dealing damage in the first few seconds. You will not see a quick finish, but in return you get stability over time. As the match extends, shields, healing, and stat increases start to show their true value. A well-protected carry will have more chances to accumulate energy and trigger stronger attack waves. This process creates a snowball effect where the longer the team fights, the harder it becomes to defeat and the higher its damage output grows. And what makes this team truly interesting is the combination of two different synergies. On one side is the Amazon synergy, focusing on defense increases, shield generation, and target control through dual mechanics. On the other side is the Superman family synergy, where the Krypton energy mechanic increases the power of key skills and creates well-timed burst damage moments. This hybrid does not make the team feel disconnected. Instead, the strong defensive core creates the perfect condition for the damage side to fully develop over time. Next, to clearly understand why this team can operate so consistently, we need to analyze each position in detail. When separating each character and looking at their exact role within the overall strategy, you will see that everyone has a clear responsibility, and more importantly, they support each other instead of functioning independently. In the front line, Queen Hippolyta acts as the foundational defensive layer of the entire team. She is not the type of tanker who charges forward to create heavy pressure, but instead focuses on stability through shields and increasing the durability of allies. Thanks to that, the whole team has a safe window at the start of the match to set up the battlefield. The strong point of this position is its very high stability, especially when paired with other Amazon members, where the defensive efficiency becomes even more noticeable. However, the limitation is also clear. She does not create significant damage pressure. So, if the backline does not generate enough threat, the match can be prolonged without gaining an early advantage. Beside her, Artemis brings a completely different dynamic to the front line. She not only absorbs damage, but also has the ability to pull a target into a dual state, forcing the enemy to focus on her for a certain period of time. This is extremely important when the opponent has a dangerous carry in the backline. Isolating that target greatly reduces pressure on your team. Artemis's strength lies in her ability to both defend and deal damage based on her own defense stat, making her very uncomfortable to face. However, while in the dual state, she is vulnerable to magic damage, so if the opponent times it correctly, Artemis can be put in danger. Moving to the backline, Wonder Girl serves as the bridge between defense and damage. She further strengthens the defense stats for the Amazon group while dealing steady damage, not explosive but valuable over time. Her strength is her strong synergy with Hippolyta and Artemis, making the Amazon core much more solid. The limitation is that she is not a burst damage dealer, so in matches that require a quick finish, her impact may not feel outstanding. Next is Supergirl, who takes the role of the main damage source of the team. She provides area damage and has strong burst potential when accumulating enough energy conditions. When well protected by the front line and supported by Krypto, Supergirl can create huge pressure in the mid and late game. Her clear strength is the ability to wipe out the enemy team as the fight drags on. However, her weakness lies in the early phase when she does not yet have enough conditions to maximize her power, and if she is burst down too early, her effectiveness drops significantly. Finally, Krypto plays the role of maintaining the tempo of the match. He does not deal direct damage, but instead provides healing, defense increases, and supports the Krypton energy mechanic for the Superman family group. The strong point of Krypto is his ability to prevent the team from collapsing in prolonged fights. His presence gives Supergirl more room to develop her power. However, since he does not contribute damage, if the team falls into a situation with insufficient offensive pressure, Krypto can make the match feel overly defensive. Looking at each position as a whole, it is clear that this team does not rely on a single individual, but operates with clearly divided roles between defense, control, and damage. This distribution creates balance, but at the same time requires the player to understand how to protect and activate each character at the right timing to maximize effectiveness. Next, after understanding the role of each position, we can look more broadly to evaluate the overall strength of this team in real combat. The first thing to acknowledge is the reliability of its defense. The two tankers in the front create a solid shield wall, while the backline is protected by shields, healing, and stat boosting effects. This makes it very difficult for opponents to create a quick finishing move. In addition, the team has target control through Artemis' dual mechanic and can slow down the enemy's offensive pace through recovery and pressure mitigation. As the match extends, the combination of stable defense and area damage begins to show clear value. However, that does not mean this team has no weaknesses. The biggest limitation is the lack of explosive damage at the start of the match. If facing a team that can burst damage very quickly, especially through magic damage or defense penetration, the front line can be put into a dangerous situation before it stabilizes the battlefield. In addition, having only a partial Superman family presence means the energy mechanic does not reach its maximum potential, so Supergirl's burst power still has certain limits. This team also requires patience and good tempo control. If you mismanage the timing, the defensive advantage will not be converted into victory. Therefore, this team is most suitable for players who prefer a control-oriented and stability-focused playstyle. If you like building a solid formation, protecting your carry, and waiting for the right moment to launch a strong counterattack, then this is a very considerable option. On the other hand, if you prefer ending matches quickly with early burst damage, this team may not give you the satisfying feeling you expect. If you do not have many resources, you can use Wonder Girl instead of Artemis, so you only need to invest in two main characters, Queen Hippolyta and Supergirl. Finally, I want to emphasize that this is not an unbeatable team, but it is a lineup with strategic depth and can be very frustrating to face when operated correctly. When you clearly understand its strengths to maximize them and recognize its weaknesses to reduce risks, this team can absolutely become a strong option in many different situations. I hope this video is helpful for you. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next videos. Remember to subscribe to the channel for more great content.